Victor Halden had everything money could buy: yachts docked in Monaco, a penthouse overlooking Central Park, private jets, and a legacy built on iron and glass. Yet every evening, as he sipped his vintage scotch in silence, the emptiness echoed louder than the ticking of the antique grandfather clock in his marble-floored study. To the world, he was a cold, calculating billionaire who rose from a troubled past and conquered industry. To himself, he was a survivor, toughened by betrayal, sharpened by ambition, and kept safe by distance. Love? That was for dreamers. But one cold December evening, fate knocked, not metaphorically, but with a literal knock on the glass doors of his private event hall. Victor was hosting his annual charity gala, not because he cared, but because his PR team insisted on the appearance. Cameras flashed, champagne flowed. Behind a curtain of tuxedos and shallow compliments, Victor excused himself, exhausted by pretenses. That's when he saw the boy, thin, soaking wet, holding a crumpled flyer from the orphanage featured in the gala. "Who let this child in?" Victor barked to the nearest staff member. But before anyone could answer, the boy looked up with eyes that didn't beg. They questioned. "Are you the man who gives money to the people who forgot about us?" Victor frowned. "What's your name?" "Leo," the boy said. "I didn't come for your money. I came to find out why people give it without ever showing up." That line cut through Victor's armor like a chisel through ice. The boy was only 10, maybe 11. Victor waved everyone away. Against every ounce of logic, Victor didn't send Leo away. He drove him back to the orphanage that night, only to find it half-closed, underfunded, and colder than the winter air outside. He left a generous donation, but something gnawed at him. The boy's words echoed, "Why do people give it without ever showing up?" By the next morning, Victor had signed paperwork no one expected. The billionaire was adopting Leo. Leo didn't speak much of those first weeks. He wandered Victor's mansion in awe, but avoided him like a ghost. Victor, too, struggled. He had conquered companies and controlled entire markets, but he didn't know how to connect with a child. He hired tutors, chefs, and a full-time child therapist. Leo remained quiet, polite, and emotionally distant. Then one evening, Victor found an old drawing tucked under Leo's bed, a sketch of a man in a suit, smiling, holding a boy's hand. The caption below, "I wonder if this is what love feels like." Something broke open inside Victor. He remembered his own childhood, an abusive father, a mother who left, and the nights he swore he'd never need anyone again. Leo's birthday arrived quietly. Victor had planned a grand party, magicians, cake towers, and drone shows. But Leo was nowhere to be found. He was on the mansion rooftop alone. Victor joined him. "I thought you'd like the party," he said awkwardly. "I just wanted you to be there, not everything else." Victor sat beside him in silence. For once, he didn't offer things. He offered time, and that changed everything. One rainy day, Leo came rushing into Victor's study. "Mr. Halden, come quick." Victor assumed it was something trivial, until he followed Leo to the kitchen, where one of the maids had fainted. While others panicked, Leo calmly dialed 911, gave directions, and stayed by her side. After the ambulance left, Victor asked, "Where did you learn to do that?" Leo shrugged. "At the orphanage. No one comes unless you make the call." Victor stared at the boy, independent, brave, caring. "Leo," he said slowly, "do you still think love is something you wonder about?" Leo looked at him, eyes shining. "Not anymore." Victor knelt down and hugged him, for the first time in years, tears falling freely. Years passed. Leo grew up with Victor not just as a guardian, but a father. The mansion changed. More laughter, less silence. Victor's business meetings became fewer. His public appearances rarer. Instead, he attended school plays, learned to bake cookies, badly, and listened when Leo talked about his dreams, not of wealth, but of building a place for orphans to feel home. Eventually, they co-founded the Halden Haven, a shelter with more than walls, but warmth. Love. At Victor's 70th birthday, Leo, now 21, stood beside him, not as the boy who once questioned charity, but as the young man who redefined it. Victor raised a toast. "They say legacy is what we leave behind, but I say it's who we lift up while we're still here. Leo didn't just enter my life. He gave me one." And the room, once filled with suits and shareholders, erupted in a standing ovation, not for wealth, but for a father and son bound not by blood, but by the purest form of love.